Good to go.
All right, thank you all for bearing with us. Chair Thigpen, for the record. Oh, I hear an echo. One moment. Good. Well, there's two of me. Testing. Everyone hear me online? All right, I'm getting a thumbs up and a nod. I'll take it. All right, Chair Thigpen, for the record, we will go ahead and reconvene. Thank you all, and apologies. We had some technical difficulties and had to restart the stream. We will now go into agenda item 7E, Purpose Leadership Academy. And Dr. Broughton, is that you? Okay.
All right, Katie Broughton for the record. Members of the authority, item 7E is the new charter application for Purpose Leadership Academy. The proposed school plans to open in Clark County within the 89030, 89106, or 89115 zip codes, serving kindergarten through third grade with an initial enrollment of 162 students. The school intends to expand to kindergarten through eighth grade with a total enrollment of 459 students, and a complete enrollment chart is provided on page 2 of the memo. As the authority is aware, the SPCSA consults with local school districts and invites their input on applications proposed within their boundaries as part of our review process. Clark County School District's feedback is included as an exhibit to this item, and I will provide a brief summary. Clark County School District provided information on the capacity and star ratings of the school within the proposed zip codes. They noted that through the 2015 Capital Improvement Plan, the district has invested in these areas to meet community needs, including the replacement or planned replacement of 4 schools. The district also believes that existing schools in the proposed locations offer similar learning opportunities. The SPCSA also values public input as part of the review process. In addition to the community engagement expected of applicants, the SPCSA posts a public input survey on our website. For this application, one individual submitted a response expressing support for Purpose Leadership Academy. After careful review, the review committee recommends denying this application, and staff concurs with this recommendation, concluding that the applicant has not met the requirements outlined in NRS 388A.249. The review committee rated the 4 application sections as follows: meeting the need, approaches the standard; academic, approaches the standard; operations, approaches the standard; and financial, as approaches the standard. A complete list of ratings for each subsection of the application can be found on page 5 of the memo. I will now offer additional detail regarding the recommendation, outlining the key findings within each section. My remarks will provide a high-level summary of the information contained in the memo, and following these comments, I'll be pleased to respond to any questions regarding the highlighted findings or any elements of the recommendation not specifically addressed. I'll start with meeting the needs section of the application. Overall, this section was rated as approaches the standard, with 0 of the 3 subsections being rated as meets the standard. The committee to form proposes a K-8 school designed to serve African American and Hispanic male students, with the mission to elevate, educate, and inspire African American and Hispanic male student leaders in grades K-8 to define and reach their full potential through project-based learning, restorative pride circles, and social-emotional learning, while excelling academically and embracing leadership, identity, integrity, scholarship, humanity, and services. Purpose Leadership Academy presents a clear and compelling mission statement, and its emphasis on leadership, identity, integrity, scholarship, humanity, and service. Say that 5 times fast. Referenced here as the Lions competencies is woven throughout the application. These 6 core values form the foundation of the proposed school model. However, several aspects of the mission are not currently measurable. The applicant noted in their clarifying responses that rubrics will be developed to assess each value, and the development of those tools is still in progress. The application demonstrates a clear understanding of the community and outlines a detailed education model with 6 research-based components: social emotional learning, project-based learning, restorative justice practices, a male-focused approach, and data-driven instruction. However, it does not clearly justify why these specific strategies were selected to address the unique needs of the proposed community and target population, specifically African American and Hispanic male students. The application demonstrates active community engagement through various outreach methods and includes members with strong local ties, but does not clearly show how community feedback shaped the school's design. Additionally, the plan lacks some specific recruitment strategies for the targeted African American and Hispanic male student population. Next is the academic section, which was rated overall as approaches the standard. 3 of the 9 subsections were rated as meets the standard, and I will briefly summarize some of the key findings. The application included insufficient detail on benchmarking progress toward achieving a 4 or 5-star rating. Additionally, the committee to form did not clearly explain how they would ensure faithful implementation of the various components of the educational model, leaving questions about data use, program fidelity, and the feasibility of achieving the school's mission. The application includes a wide range of curricula and instructional strategies, but lacks a clear, coherent plan showing how these elements fit together within the proposed model to meet the specific needs of African American and Hispanic male students. Additionally, key details about the use of certain teaching strategies remained insufficiently developed. The application outlines promotion criteria based on academic performance and attendance that align with grade level expectation and describes academic supports for overage students. The committee to form clarified that retention will not be mandatory, but guided by a promotion and retention checklist with families notified if retention is recommended. The committee to form set several SMART goals across academic and social emotional areas and demonstrated awareness of the data evaluation at both school-wide and subgroup levels. However, the application lacked clarity on supporting subgroups, how the governing board will use this data for accountability, the rationale behind multiple data systems, and a cohesive plan integrating goals, data, and instructional strategies to ensure student success. The application outlines a comprehensive plan to support at-risk students with clear response to intervention goals, defined intervention tiers, progress monitoring, and strong parent communication. It also includes detailed strategies for serving students with disabilities and English learners, though tiered interventions primarily focus on math and ELA with limited attention given to other subjects or behavioral supports. The application presents a professional development plan, but lacks sufficient detail on the year-long scope and timing of key topics like response to intervention and school culture. Additionally, while staff training on some of the data systems is planned, timelines for others are unclear, and funding for increased personnel costs during the Summer Institute was not identified. The application clearly defines core competencies called LIONS that supports the school's mission and academic goals with strategies to build culture such as school-wide routines, pause bucks, and community pride circles. However, timelines for monitoring progress and taking action for remediation remain unclear. The application presents a comprehensive discipline plan, and the committee to form demonstrates a strong commitment to reducing discipline disproportionality for African American and Hispanic male students, reflecting the school's mission. However, the plan lacks specific strategies directly targeting disproportionality within the model and does not provide comprehensive professional development to support the effective use of behavior tools. The application proposes a 4-day instructional week with Fridays reserved for teacher professional development, meeting minimum instructional minute requirements. The committee to form was unclear about Friday activities for students and families, and the decision appears based on other schools' success rather than specific data or feedback from the proposed community. Additionally, the plan depends on unsecured external partnerships for Friday mentoring and tutoring for students, raising some sustainability concerns. The next section is operations, and this section was rated overall as approaches the standard. 0 of the 8 subsections were rated as meets the standard, and I will briefly summarize some of the key reasons. The proposed board is clearly passionate, and they show strength in their diverse representation and plans to add members with needed expertise, supported by multiple committees aligned with the school's mission. However, concerns include an overly ambitious committee structure without clear meeting schedules, vague governance processes and key performance indicators, a lack of education finance expertise, and a risky 2-year term limit for all members that could cause total board turnover and loss of institutional knowledge. The proposed school leader brings varied experience and a strong commitment to the mission, supported by a committee to form that believes in the potential of all students. However, concerns include limited experience with special populations, some lack of performance data, a potential over-reliance on the school leader, unclear details about leadership development and evaluation, potential operational strain on the proposed leader, and uncertain readiness of the committee to form for recruitment and hiring. The committee to form aims to hire educators dedicated to serving at-risk students with a focus on social emotional learning, enhanced support, and project-based learning aligned to LIONS competencies. However, concerns about include a potentially uncompetitive teacher salary, initially unclear staffing timelines and ratios, and a likely insufficient number of support positions given the school's planned student population and proposed whole child services. The application presents a thorough hiring and performance management system aimed at aligning teachers with the school's mission, supporting staff growth, and addressing underperformance. However, concerns include a potentially uncompetitive teacher salary that may impede recruiting qualified teachers, a lack of clear plan to ensure staff diversity, and unclear accountability for essential operational tasks like background checks and payroll. The application includes enrollment projections supported by community input and demand letters, though many letters pertain to grades potentially not served in year one, raising questions about the accuracy of the demand data. While grassroots outreach and parent meetings are planned to promote equitable access, the recruitment budget is limited and the application lacks specific strategies for recruiting African American and Hispanic male students, the proposed target population. The incubation plan is comprehensive and includes professional development for the school leader and intentions to seek additional grant funding, but the broad timelines would benefit from more detailed benchmarks. As is, it remains unclear if the proposed school would meet all required benchmarks, and although inconsistencies in planning and budgeting were clarified, some concerns remain about the feasibility of hiring only 2 part-time staff with shared duties who may need other employment during the incubation year. The applicant provided cost estimates for several services, and while vendor diversity is prioritized, the plan lacks specific goals to evaluate vendor or program effectiveness. Additionally, the technology infrastructure timeline is unclear, making rollout feasibility uncertain, and the application overlooks transportation services for students with disabilities, raising equity concerns. The facility plan shows promising partnerships and early progress, including potential leases and a preferred property under consideration, but financial viability is unclear due to unknown purchase costs. Concerns persist about low upkeep cost estimates, unclear coordination between partners, and limited maintenance and operational planning, all of which require more detail for sustainable implementation. Finally, the financial section was rated as approaches the standard. The financial plan lacks clarity and does not fully demonstrate the committee to form's readiness. There are outstanding questions regarding how financial responsibilities will be shared among the back office provider, the administrative team, and the chancellor. The plan's optimistic enrollment assumptions lead to minimal reserves and low staff salaries, raising concerns about recruiting and retaining effective, culturally competent educators, especially if those enrollment assumptions are not met. Contingency planning is vague, making it unclear how budget shortfalls would be managed without impacting the school's mission. Inconsistencies remain between the narrative and financial plan on key items like hiring timelines and costs, and unbudgeted services such as Friday mentoring and tutoring for students add further uncertainty. Overall, while some clarifications were provided throughout the application process, concerns about sustainability and cash flow persist. To summarize and underscore the reasons I've outlined this afternoon, staff is recommending that the authority deny this applicant, and a proposed motion can be found on page 4 of the memo, and I'm happy to take any questions that the authority board may have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Broughton. And I do think it looks like we have a school, and the applicant is here, sorry, to answer questions we may have, but we'll start with if you have 3 minutes of commentary you'd like to provide, it will be timed by our vice chair. And when you speak, just be sure to say your name for the record and that the green light is on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, SPCSA board and staff members. I'm Leandris Wright, founder of Purpose Leadership Academy, and I would like to acknowledge my committee and forum members who are virtually. On behalf of the Purpose Leadership Academy founding team, I want to express our sincere appreciation to the Nevada State Public Charter School Authority for its thoughtful review of our application and for recognizing the potential impact of our model on the students and families we seek to serve. While we are disappointed by the decision to deny authorization at this time, we are deeply encouraged by the SPCSA's invitation to work closely with the staff as we revise and strengthen our submission. We welcome this opportunity with humility, determination, and an unwavering commitment to create a high-quality educational option for boys, particularly African American and Hispanic young men, in our most underserved community. We, myself, and our committee to form, and our proposed school community believe in the vision behind Purpose Leadership Academy because it was built hand in hand with students, families, and community leaders. Their voices remain our compass, and with your support, we are more prepared than ever to refine our plan, address areas of concern with clarity, and return with a proposal that meets and exceeds the standards of excellence the SPCSA has set forth for schools. Thank you again for your guidance, your partnership, and for giving us the opportunity to continue this important work as we work together.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your professionalism and effort put into this work. It is very valued. All right, we'll bring it back to my board colleagues for discussion. Looking in, Member Richards?
Member Richards, for the record, just thank you for your passion and energy and getting the feedback and working towards student success. It's outstanding that you're trying because our students need it.
Board Member Aldava, and I echo the same sentiments, and as well as the fact that it has a focus on, young boys, right? There's a lot of research out there that can definitely help, with your mission. And so I also appreciate your enthusiasm and your willingness to continue to work with us to make sure that this comes to fruition. This is a great need in our community, and I'm excited to what the future holds. Thank you.
Thank you both. Any other members? Okay, we'll go online. Any discussion online or in Reno? Member Stern?
Member Stern, for the record, I want to echo the sentiment of my board colleagues. I think one of the things that was incredibly evident during the capacity interview was the extraordinary passion from everybody who was participating on behalf of the applicant school. And I do want to encourage you, as you are thinking through, it sounds like revisions or perhaps a new application in another year, to really heed the feedback from staff. That I don't think there's any, I don't think anybody's questioning the need of the demographic that you are looking to serve, but we do need that clarity around making sure that those students are served, whether individually as a targeted group or within a school that serves a larger demographic population, to really make sure that the ways in which you are looking to serve the needs of the students is representative of the community need and of the research to support that, and that you're able to clearly articulate that. But I do applaud you for the efforts, and I definitely think that there is a need, and do hope that you're able to, you or whomever chooses to apply, but always meets the need of the students, so that our students get the best education possible.
Thank you, Member Stern. Any other discussion from board colleagues online? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
This is Vice Chair Haddad Bennett, obviously echoing my colleagues' comments here. Really incredibly important work. So much work has been put into this up to this point, just like that next level. And I think we all believe and want you to get there. So for today, we're going to go ahead and I'll make a motion to deny the Purpose Leadership Academy application as submitted during the 2025 application cycle based on the finding that the applicant has failed to satisfy the requirements contained in NRS 388A.2493, in that the applicant has failed to demonstrate competence in accordance with the criteria for approval prescribed by the SPCSA that will likely result in successful opening and operation of the charter school, and to designate Director McAdin to meet and confer with the applicant.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any, excuse me, do I have a second?
Board Member Aldava, second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you under hopefully more favorable conditions in the future. All right, let's see. Oh, Chair Thigpen for the record. We will close out agenda item 7E and move on to 7F, Somerset Academy, Carson City. And who's taking this one?
Actually, Karen Gordon is going to take this one, and I see her lovely face on the screen.
Hi, Karen. How about
Hello. This is Karen Gordon for the record. Members of the authority, item 7F is the new charter application for Somerset Academy of Carson City. As proposed, the school plans to open in Carson City within the 89701, 89703, 89705, and 89706 zip codes, with kindergarten through second grade and 152 students, growing to kindergarten through 8th grade and 430 students. A complete enrollment chart can be found on page 1 of the memo before you. As the authority is aware, the SPCSA engages with districts and offered an opportunity to provide input on any application proposed within their boundaries as a part of our review process. The input from Carson City School District can be found as an exhibit alongside this item. I will briefly summarize key information provided. The Carson City School District communicated they have no plans to add any new schools at this time. As the authority is also aware, the SPCSA values public input as part of this process. In addition to the public comment survey on our website, the authority did not receive additional public comments through our survey. Overall, and after careful consideration, the review committee recommend that this application be approved with conditions which I will detail shortly. Staff agree with the recommendation and believe that the applicant has satisfied the requirements contained in NRS 388A-249. The review committee rated 5 of 5 application sections as follows: meeting the need, meets; academic, meets; operations, meets; financial, meets; addendum, meets. A complete list of ratings for each subsection of the application can be found on page 5 of this memo. I'm now going to provide a bit more detail regarding staff's recommendations and break down findings under each of the sections. Again, my comments will be a summary of the information contained in the memo. After my remarks, I'm happy to answer questions about highlighted findings or details of the recommendation that I did not address. I'm going to start with the meeting the need section of the application. This section was rated as meets the standard with 3 of 3 subsections rated as meets. The committee to form proposes to replicate the highly successful educational program of the Somerset Academy, Inc. charter school network in Florida and the Somerset Academy of Las Vegas in Nevada. Here's the mission statement. Somerset Academy, Inc. promotes a transformational culture that maximizes student achievement and the development of accountable global learners in a safe and enriching environment that fosters a high-quality education. The zip codes of focus were targeted because of the high concentration of current 1- and 2-star schools. The committee to form states a clear plan to address multiple statutory purposes, including improving academic achievement and clear accountability and transparency for the proposed school. In both the written application and during the capacity interview, the committee to form was able to demonstrate a thorough understanding of the Carson City community and students to be served, including relevant demographic information and the educational needs of students within those demographics. The committee to form provided intentional and thoughtful strategies to engage with the Carson City community. Within the capacity interview, the applicant specifically talked about the community engagement that has occurred in Carson City, including attending community events and gathering feedback from the community. It is through one of these events that a member of the committee to form learned about the school and joined the proposed governing board. Moving to the academic section, this section was rated as meets the standard with 9 of 9 subsections rated as meets. I'll briefly summarize some of the key reasons for those ratings. The Somerset Academy of Carson City team articulated a compelling theory of change and outlined their intent to implement best practices focused on high expectations, academic excellence, character development, family engagement, and collaborative leadership. Somerset Academy of Carson City demonstrated that instructional strategies were well suited to the identified student population. Somerset Academy of Carson City outlined research-based instructional practices to support differentiation, including varied cognitive level activities, multiple ways to demonstrate mastery, and flexible classroom layouts to accommodate diverse instructional approaches. Within the promotion and graduation requirement section, the applicant provided a detailed description of the systems and structures the school will implement to support students at risk of retention, dropping out, or not meeting graduation requirements. The Somerset Academy of Carson City team presented a clear and cohesive educational strategy in the Driving for Results section of the application, which included quarterly interim goals, reflecting a strong understanding of the state's accountability system and how academic progress will be measured. In the at-risk students and special population section, the applicant included a detailed plan for a variety of student assessments and a plan to review student data on a regular basis to ensure that students are adequately progressing. The applicant outlined a multi-tiered system of support that included response to intervention, supplemental aids, and additional instructional support for students with disabilities. The committee to form provided details about professional development and described plans to have teacher coaching through school leaders and instructional coaches, which they plan to provide through classroom observation and direct circles of feedback. Within school culture section, the applicant described plans to implement a school-wide character education program, which is research-based, age-appropriate, and will support all students. The committee to form identified clear goals for student behavior with a detailed plan to incorporate restorative justice practices as part of the school's approach to discipline. Finally, the committee to form proposes a school calendar and schedule that meet statutory and regulatory requirements. Moving on to the operations section. This section was rated meets the standard with 7 of 8 subsections rated meets. I'll briefly summarize some of the key reasons for those ratings. In the board governance section, the committee to form outlined a clear understanding of the governing board's responsibilities for the school, including ensuring fidelity with the charter agreement and overall fiduciary responsibilities of the school. Within the leadership team subsection, the committee to form included members who have worked with students from diverse backgrounds, students with disabilities, English language learners, and other special populations. Although a school leader has not yet been identified, the committee to form explained the timeframe and method by which they will recruit and select a candidate who demonstrates qualifications and competencies aligned with the school's mission. Staffing plan demonstrated reasonable student-teacher ratios and a plan which ensures sufficient capacity to enable high-quality teacher support and development, student and family support, effective school operations, and compliance with all applicable policies and procedures. Within the human resources section, the applicant articulated recruitment and hiring processes that would result in the hiring of high-quality teachers, leaders, and staff reflective of the student body. The applicant listed proactive enrollment strategies such as open houses, social media, and monthly student enrollment meetings to answer community questions about the school with a clear understanding of the statutory requirements of these processes. The incubation year subsection was rated as approaches the standard. In the written application, the committee to form provided key milestones for the planning year, as well as concrete actions and accountability measures. During the capacity interview, the applicant explained they will receive a Charter Schools Program (CSP) expansion grant from Somerset Incorporated immediately upon authorization. It is through this expansion grant that the school will fund all needed incubation year activities as well as support the year 1 budget. However, the financial plan workbook did not include revenue or expense estimations for the incubation year. As such, the review team could not review the incubation year budget that included this funding. Services subsection was rated meets the standard. The applicant demonstrated clear plans to offer a school food program and understands the process for participation in the National School Lunch Program. The committee to form underlined a clear understanding and plans to provide custodial services as well as health services to the school. The facility subsection was rated as meets the standard. The applicant states plans to operate in a temporary facility for years 1 through 3, which will allow the school to establish itself and grow its enrollment while determining a long-term facility plan. The committee to form stated that the desired location for the facility will be within the identified zip codes. The addendum section is next. This section was rated as meets the standard with 4 of 4 subsection rated meets. I'll briefly summarize some of the key reasons for those ratings. The past performance subsection was rated as meets the standard. The applicant highlighted that Academica Nevada supports more than 40 charter campuses across the state, the majority of which consistently achieve 3, 4, or 5-star ratings under the Nevada School Performance Network. The scale strategy subsection was rated meets the standard. The applicant explained that the proposed EMO has supported several schools in opening their campuses and currently has no other school applications in process. The network capacity subsection was rated meets the standard. The applicant described Academica as a 60-plus person team that works with a variety of schools on back office operational support, including board support, HR, payroll, safety, planning, finance, budget, and compliance. The school management contract subsection was rated meets the standard. The applicant stated that the committee to form selected Academica to support the school because of its proven track record with Nevada, as well as its familiarity with the Somerset model, as it already supports other Somerset schools. Finally, the financial section was rated meets the standard. The applicant states that the principal will oversee all school level finances and handle the day-to-day finances of the school. The applicant states that for contingency plans, the school would have access to grants and other financial support via Academica Nevada. The applicant states that the school and governing board will focus on proactive enrollment, marketing, and outreach to work to ensure a strong year one enrollment. To summarize and underscore the reasons I have outlined, staff is recommending that the authority approve this applicant with several conditions that will align to the areas of concern I've noted. The proposed conditions are: number one, by November 1st, 2025, provide an updated financial plan that provides detailed information regarding the incubation year budget. The plan should identify all confirmed sources of revenue, including the final award details of the CSP grant from Somerset Inc., as well as the inclusion of the 1% affiliation fee. Additionally, the submission should include a narrative explanation that clearly describes how the confirmed revenue sources correspond to the anticipated costs associated with the incubation year. Number two, by November 1st, 2025, provide evidence that a formal contract has been negotiated and signed between the governing board and Somerset Inc. Within the contract, include the 1% affiliation fee and a list of agreed upon services. Number three, by January 1st, 2026, provide evidence that a school leader has been hired. Number four, by June 1st, 2026, submit a fully executed lease for a facility that will meet the needs of the school for the 26-27 school year, located in the 89701, 89703, 89705, 89706 zip codes. Number five, by June 8th, 2026, submit a board-approved final budget that reflects revenue based on confirmed enrollment and includes expenses associated with the identified facility. The budget should clearly specify all funding sources and identify any financial support provided by the EMO, grants, or other sources, including any financing arrangements. Number six, at the conclusion of the new school enrollment audit in June 2026, provide evidence that Somerset Academy of Carson City has at least 144 students enrolled for the 26-27 school year. And number seven, complete the SPCSA pre-opening process for new charter schools. Pursuant to NAC 388A 410, all conditions set forth above must be met for the school to open for the 26-27 school year. Should the board wish to approve this application, a proposed motion can be found on pages 3 and 4 of this memo. I'm happy to take any questions that the authority may have.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. And Chair Thigpen, for the record, it looks like we have representatives of the applicant here in Las Vegas, and I'm seeing some folks in Reno as well. Just a reminder, the applicant has 3 minutes of timed commentary that you can provide, and then we'll go into Q&A from board members. So not sure which one of you wants to head off. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, SPCSA board members and staff. My name is Maita Sanchez. I am part of the founding board, resident of Carson City, Nevada. Thank you again for your time and thoughtful consideration today of our application for Somerset Academy of Carson City. We're all very excited. Joining us today, as you see, are members of our committee to form and representatives from Academica here in Reno, in Las Vegas, and also online. Should our application be approved today, one of our first priorities will be identifying a school leader within the next 2 or 3 months. This role is critical not only for marketing and recruitment, but also for shaping the culture of the school and ensuring a strong foundation for our students. We are very fortunate to have a CSP grant that is expected to cover the salary and other startup costs, including curriculum, textbooks, and equipment in year 0. We also recognize the importance of clarity around our future school location. Families, the board, SPCSA staff can expect timely updates as we make progress in securing a facility in Carson City. We are very committed and hopeful. Our proposal really reflects a deliberate slow growth model, beginning with grades K through 2 to really ensure stability and quality as we serve our families in Carson City. We would be glad to answer any questions you may have. We look forward to the opportunity to partner with you in bringing high quality education and opportunity to Carson City. Again, we thank you for your consideration. We are hopeful to have this approved today, and thank you for the staff recommendation conditions moving forward. We do feel comfortable and very committed to meeting them. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Chair Thigpen, for the record, we'll bring it back to board colleagues for discussion. Any colleagues in Las Vegas have questions, comments, concerns?
Yes, I have a question.
Go for it.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here and sticking in all day. Vice Chair Haddad-Bennett. So I have maybe 2 questions. First, I appreciate in your comments you were addressing a bit about the location. As far as I can see, all of the zip codes that you've presented encompass the vast majority of Carson City. Could you give us a little bit of insight if there's a particular area, or maybe what are some of the criteria that you're looking for as far as location in order to meet the need?
Do you want me to? So criteria for location. So Carson City.
Say your name for the record, please.
Oh, yes, I apologize. Maita Sanchez for the record. So Carson City is fairly small in comparison to other areas in Nevada. So travel distance from one end to Carson City to another is not what we might be accustomed to in the larger areas. We are taking into consideration exits and drop off. So what does that look like as parents come in to drop off and come out? We've also taken into consideration what zip code we do have the school or the building in. We want to make sure that we are in a central location to the populations that we are wanting to serve, underserved communities, our minority underserved folks that we do have. So right now we've toured a couple of different locations, and that has come up in conversation where one of the locations is probably in the northern part of town, and whether or not that would be conducive to the population that we would like to serve versus maybe another location that is a little bit more east of Carson City, which might present other challenges. But again, it would be more in an area of the families that we would like to target in regards to serving those populations. So criteria for location really is availability. There is limited availability, but again, committed to. We've been doing a lot of legwork and visiting several different sites, looking online, keeping appraised of what's happening in the community to make sure that we can jump at something as soon as we have a chance. Hopefully that answers your question. If I missed anything.
You're good. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, and I think exactly to the point you made around like understanding that Carson City is relatively small in comparison to Southern Nevada, for example. Obviously, there are still pockets and locations that you want to be thinking about in relation to.
Yeah.
Again, meeting the needs of the students you intend to serve. So I appreciate that. The other question that I have is, and I'm not sure who all is representing the school versus Academica or the CMO, but I do have one question. So looking at the whole Somerset portfolio, you've got some super duper high performing schools Awesome, awesome, love it. 4 or 5 stars. And then we've got a handful of elementary and middle, maybe 2 or 3 that are 2 stars. What are you guys doing to differentiate yourself and make sure that you are one of the higher performing schools in the portfolio?
I'm going to go ahead and answer that. My name is Shannon Manning, for the record. I am on the committee to form. I'm also a principal at Somerset. So I work for the system and I work with a lot of those schools. I think one of the things about the Somerset model that I like best, that I think is best for Carson City, is that we collaborate and we talk about best teaching practices across the board, whether it's bringing in those folks from Florida to kind of walk through and help make sure that we're meeting the needs of those English language learners or underserved populations or students who maybe are not being taught as successfully as we'd like them to be. And I think that's one of the things that we've seen. Data has not yet been released for this year, so I can't say anything to that. But I am very, very confident that some of those schools that you're addressing have shown some significant growth. So just continuing to replicate those models and make sure that we're stepping in and providing those supports, like Maida said, to make sure that those students that we want to serve are being served best.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other questions from board colleagues here in Vegas? Okay. Board colleagues online or in Reno? Courtney, you flashed first and on my screen, so I'll go with you, Ms. Stern.
Member Stern, for the record. I have a question for staff, actually, and it may have been me, perhaps I misheard, but when reading the conditions, I heard number 6 listing as enrollment of at least 144 students, and what I'm seeing is 130 on the memo that I pulled up. Can I get some clarification on if there's been a change in what we're considering?
Katie Broughton, for the record, let me just check something really quick. So what we did was we did 90% of the minimum enrollment is outlined in the application. So I just want to confirm really quickly.
It may be me. Member Stern, for the record,
No.
Okay.
Hold on. Well, I want to confirm that it's the right one.
Hold, please.
Gladly.
Well, I just want to make sure what the minimum.
Chair Thickman, while we're confirming that, is it okay if I ask a question? Because it is around enrollment.
As long as you don't throw Katie off. Go ahead.
Okay. So I do see that your anticipated enrollment is for your first year is 152 is what you are hoping for, regardless of what we put in, whether it's 130, 144, somewhere around there. Those numbers keeping in mind that Carson City is relatively smaller. So I'm curious if you could just speak to that enrollment and what interest you've seen that makes those numbers that to me feel a little ambitious, but maybe are not.
Hello, I'm Wendy Cook, for the record, and I'm on the committee to form. And I lived in Carson City for over 20 years, so I've been really participating in a lot of events for promoting and marketing the school. I've been to the underwater Easter egg hunt at the community center. I've been at the Mother's Day fair at the community center. I've been to multiple preschools with our flyers. We've had community interest meetings. And really, I've heard from many, many parents. They were very excited about a public charter school coming to Carson City for another option. Because they have a little bit more autonomy and have programs that they can build around and what the community and the parents want for the students who are going to be enrolled. I really feel that the interest is really high. And that's even before we had approval. I feel that after today and we have the approval, I have many marketing plans and table events that I'm going to attend. And I feel that with the approval, we're going to have even more parents that are going to be very interested in bringing their children on board. Of course, we have a lot of interest, and then it comes down to the registrations and looking at how many students we have at the time for registration for when school starts next year. But I really feel confident because I talk to many, many parents, and they are very excited about having another choice. And that really gears towards high level education with individualized learning, one-on-one if they need extra help, and just really giving their children that extra boost to really be successful. So I just felt a lot of excitement. And like I said, after the approval today, and I go forward with all the marketing events, probably with Andrea and just multiple people and Maita. I mean, we are really strong in the community, and we're going to attend a lot of events, and we really found that a lot of people are very interested. So I'm confident that we're going to have the numbers. And if we have more registrations than we have seats, then we'll just do the lottery. We want to make sure that everybody's equally able to come to the school, give an opportunity to everybody. So, and I just want to say thank you so much for your looking at our application and looking at it favorably. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Member Stern sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to add Andrea Hernandez for the record, part of the committee to form. I've been a part of the committee for the last 2 years, and I've seen it from the very beginning. And in the last 2 years, we've doubled our numbers with the amount of interest that we've gained from families in the community, as well as we have multiple people on the community forum that speak Spanish, and that's a very huge population in Carson City that we're also looking to serve. And so just wanted to highlight just that little tidbit.
Member Stern, for the record, thank you for addressing that. It's just, I did note that like your target enrollment for your starting year was consistent across where you expect. I know you can always apply to increase enrollment caps if the need is there. So I appreciate hearing that in your estimation, this is fairly conservative for what you're anticipating the need. Thank you.
And Katie Broughton, I can confirm 130 should be the amount in the condition. Again, that's 90% of the minimum enrollment in the application, which corresponds to the break-even budget scenario proposed. I apologize for the confusion. I think I made that adjustment after Karen had written her comments, so my apologies.
Thank you, Dr. Broughton. So glad to hear the proposed motion sounds correct. To me, I feel confident. So thank you. I think Member Salcido, you had your hand up as well.
I did. Thank you, Mr. Chair, but it was actually seeking clarification on that 130 and 144 number because I heard the same thing. So I'm good now. Thank you.
Awesome. You and Member Stern are mind melding. I like it. All right. Any other questions or comments from board colleagues online? Okay. Any in the boardroom? I do have one question / concern, I guess. We have seen in the past with temporary facilities, I know that it was mentioned that you all plan to be there for up to 3 years. I mean, that could be shorter, of course, if things go well with the permanent facility. But I'm concerned mainly, and maybe it's just more something to consider as you identify a permanent location. We've seen with schools who go from temporary to permanent, a significant drop in enrollment from families who just can't make it out there. I know we're doing better on transportation and all that for our charter schools, but I don't know if, again, if it's more of a question or just something I want you to consider. But in terms of the distance from the temporary facility to where you may have your permanent one, is that something you all are already considering right now?
Yes. So Maita Sanchez for the record, we are very cognizant because we have talked about transportation. And again, as Wendy and Andrea have said, even having conversations with our families and communities, that is always the number one thing that comes up, transportation, right? So honestly, in complete transparency, we are hoping to walk into a permanent facility and be able to not have a temp. But we are, again, looking at the different locations in Carson City so that if we do go from a temp to a permanent, that those locations would be very close in distance so that we would limit any issues that we may or may not have with transportation. And again, we are a fairly progressive team. creative, innovative board, I would say, and looking at those transportation issues to mitigate any drop off of students' enrollment. That would be something, a bridge that we would cross at that time, but we are very cognizant and aware of it. But yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Vice Chair?
Just to follow up on that, Patricia Haddad-Bennett. So can you tell us a little bit about how you would engage families in the process, A, in your incubation period over the next year, and then B, informing, like I think you just mentioned, around either, well, a temporary facility and then ultimately a permanent facility? How are you, like, what kind of structures or systems are you building in to make sure that you're taking in that family input and that that's getting incorporated into your plans?
Maitha Sanchez for the record. So we've actually had a little bit of conversation around this, and we have to have a larger conversation once we do know whether or not the charter is approved, but it would be much to what we've already been doing, where we have the community listening sessions where we go out into the community and invite families to be a part of that conversation. Even with kind of a joke, we're like, hey, well, maybe we will be able to find a facility through the community participation and getting that feedback from them. We are all very engaged and very dug into Carson City with our families. So it would be that type of continued communication where it's online through social media posting, through the community posts, through the neighborhood networks. Wendy is amazing, and Andrea is too, at attending those events where they're at the tables and they're just talking to people and gathering their information and just having those conversations with folks out in the community. So we will continue that structure, that framework, in collecting that information. And then again, like I said, if approved, we would love to have like a, hey, we've been approved, everyone who's interested, now let's move to interest to registration. Help us find a location where we can all feel comfortable so that we have that feeling that we are bringing the school to Carson City, not only as that founding board committee to form, but also as a community, we're bringing this opportunity to our community. So that's very important for us.
All right, thank you very much. Last call for any discussion from board colleagues. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, sorry, one last quick little comment is just I want to express my appreciation for the committee to form in particular. Every cycle we hear from applicants, and it is really encouraging when I'm able to hear all the responses come from actually the committee to form and not the CMO or the EMO. And so I congratulate you on that. Again, it's very encouraging, gives me some peace of mind knowing that that you understand that you guys are the ones running the show and that the charter is given to you. And so kudos for coming this far and for how engaged and knowledgeable you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Salcido. I will echo your sentiments. It has been very reassuring to hear. All right, well, I will entertain a motion.
This is Vice Chair Haddad-Bennett, and also want to thank you guys for how much time and work and again hanging out with us here all day. So thank you. Go ahead and make a motion to approve the Somerset Academy of Carson City application as submitted during the 2025 application cycle with the conditions as permitted by NAC 388A.410 and as outlined below, based on a finding that the applicant has met the requirements contained in NRS 388A.2493, in that the applicant has demonstrated competence in accordance with the criteria for approval prescribed by the SPCSA that will likely result in a successful opening and operation of the charter school. I'm going to go ahead and read the conditions just because there was some confusion around the finals. So condition number 1, November 1, 2025, by then, provide an updated financial plan that provides detailed information regarding the incubation year budget. The plan should identify all confirmed sources of revenue, including the final award details of the CSP grant from Somerset Inc., as well as the inclusion of the 1% affiliation fee. Additionally, the submission should include a narrative explanation that clearly describes how the confirmed revenue sources correspond to the anticipated costs associated with the incubation year. Condition 2, by November 1, 2025, provide evidence that a formal contract has been negotiated and signed between the governing board and Somerset Inc. Within the contract, include the 1% affiliation fee and a list of agreed upon services. 3, by January 1, 2026, provide evidence that a school leader has been hired. 4, by June 1, 2026, submit a fully executed lease for a facility that will meet the needs of the school for the 2026-2027 school year, located in 89701, 89703, 89705, 89706 zip codes. 5, by June 8th, 2026, submit a board-approved final budget that includes revenue based on the fully enrolled student count at the time of board approval and accurately incorporates expenses for the identified facility. 6, at the conclusion of the new school enrollment audit in June 2026, provide evidence that Somerset Academy of Carson City has at least 130 students enrolled for the 26-27 school year. And 7, complete the SPCSA pre-opening processes for new charter schools, which includes meeting document submission deadlines as required by staff, participating in required trainings, and attending monthly meetings. And then, of course, pursuant to NAC 388A.410, all conditions set forth above must be met for the school to open in the 2026-2027 school year.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Why don't we even it out at 10 conditions? I'm just kidding. Last one, I had to make a joke. Do I have a second?
Member Homestead, second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Your school has been approved. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time and effort and all the school or applicants today that presented. We appreciate your dedication to our students and education in the state. So that closes out agenda item 7F. We will now move on to agenda item number 8, which is the long-range calendar and proposed meeting dates with Director McAdam.
All right. Just so everyone knows, we don't have a board meeting in September. Our next board meeting will be October 10th, and we only have 3 more meetings this calendar year, which is insane. So please, as always, if there's something you'd like to see on the agenda, let Chair Thigpen and myself know. We'll do our best to accommodate that. And if you're going to have any planned absences, please let us know so we can ensure a quorum. We do have some important things coming up that will require a quorum, like the org framework results and things like that. So that's all I've got, unless anyone has anything.
Thank you, Director McAdam. Any questions from board colleagues? All right. Well, that takes us into our final agenda item, public comments number 9. Do we have any public comment in the boardroom? No.
We do not.
Any online?
No.
Well, that's disappointing. I'm kidding. All right. Well, with all that
no
said,
public comment in Reno.
Oh, I'm sorry, Reno. Forgot about you for a second. But thank you to Danny and member Salcido for holding down the fort in Reno. We appreciate you. And with that, we will go into I'm going to say it's a record-setting adjournment for this meeting that we have every year. So thank you all for your dedication. We will adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.